Hey guys, so I'm back again. I'm ready to make a tutorial on how to make a simple game using the game engine that we made in our last tutorial. And we're just going to be creating a simple Pong game. So by the end of this, we'll have a working Pong game with some AI for a computer to hit back at you and play against you. But going from where we left off, I'm in the game engine project right now. I'm going to delete the my game, the my screen that we made last time. You guys can keep it if you want. You can put it somewhere else to save it and look at it later, or whatever you want to do. Um, but for right now, we're going to add something else into the game, or into the game engine. So we're going to create a new class, click the class, and then type in, we'll name it I, the letter I, and then the word entity. So I'll explain why we're going to do this and everything in a second. So we're going to make an interface, and it's just going to be holding a bunch of different functions that this entity is going to contain. So pretty much what an entity is going to have is it's going to be pretty much something that's going to be able to move and then draw, or I shouldn't say move, it should be able to update, draw, have X and Y coordinates, and things like that. So this is going to be the interface for it, and then we're going to create another class so that uh, when you're coding your game, you can extend it and then add to it and whatever you want to do with it. But for right now, we're going to create a few simple methods where we'll add more as we go along. So for right now, we'll do public int get x. Oops, and just close it. Public int get y. Public void set x, and just do int x. Public void set y, int y. And then we will do public void update. So I'll update the game. We'll do public void draw, and that takes a graphics 2D object. So graphics 2D. Oops. So used to put in braces, and just import that. And that should be good for right now. Now we're going to create another class. So we're going to call it. Let's click create first. We're going to call it abstract entity. So come into here and write before class, type abstract, but don't get rid of class. Make sure it's still there. Oops. And now in here is where we're going to set some of the functions, and then we'll let other classes implement the other ones that they can use, like the draw class and the update class. So we're going to create a new constructor, and we're just going to name abstract entity in x and y. And we're going to create some private variables. So we're going to create a private int x and y, and then I'm just going to set them so this dot x equals x, this dot y equals y. And now we're going to, forgot to type it up here, we're going to have to do implements iEntity. So make sure you're implementing that class, and then we're just going to go back in here and we're going to copy these functions right here. So copy those, go back to abstract entity, and then you can just paste them right in. So these are the methods that we're going to give a body to and put some code in it to make it actually work. So I'm just going to spread these out and add the braces and everything like that. Just make them all into functions or methods. It's pretty basic, or pretty explanatory what they do. So we're going to do return x, so it's going to return the x variable. This is going to return the y variable. This is going to set the x variable to x. This is going to set the y variable to y. So that's the basis of the entity class. So that's done with that, and I'll show you how to use that when we're in the game as well. But pretty much, say that you want to create a player entity. So instead of adding all these methods in every single time you want to create a new entity, we can just put it right into the game engine so we can extend it. So if we have a player class, for example, let me show you. So let's make a player class. And what you want to do is you want to extend abstract entity. Then we're going to implement, or we're going to get the constructor, and then that's just going to set everything that we called in the abstract entity class, and then we're going to get the methods that we didn't implement. So as you can see, we got the update and the draw method. So we have all these methods in here, but because that we put the code for these four into the abstract entity, we don't have to override them and make other functions. They're just automatically in there. But because we didn't put the update and draw, then we have to have it in the player class. So that's how that's going to work. This is going to get called every few seconds whenever you want to do it, and this is going to draw it. So that's how that's all going to work, and we will use that in the Pong game. So right now I'm going to teach you how to, instead of making the Pong game in this actual game engine project, I'm going to show you how to export it so we can just use it in other projects. So when you're ready to use it, you want to click on the game engine project up here and just right click it and go to export. And then come down to this folder here and make sure it shows Java, and just click jar file. And click next. I'm going to name it game engine. I'm going to put it on my desktop, so I'm going to go to my desktop, name it game engine, and just leave everything as it is and just click finish. And it'll probably say you have warnings because we didn't fill some stuff in, but don't worry about it, it's nothing really. So now when we're back on our desktop, you can see the game engine's right here. Now obviously when we run it, it's not going to do anything. Not going to run, there's no main method, so it's not going to run anything. But what you can do with that is, let's create a new project when you're in Eclipse. So go to Eclipse, create a new project, and just call it Pong, or Ping Pong, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it Pong. And now, once again, right click on the Pong folder this time, go to, whoops, I'm sorry. Right click it, go to new, and just click new folder. And then we're just going to name it lib for libraries. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to shrink this. We're going to take this jar file we have right here, and I'm just going to drag it right into that folder. So just click copy it. So now it's in here. So now we want to be able to use the code that's inside of that in our project. So right click on Pong, go to properties, and then go to Java build path, and then right here you see libraries, click on that, and then click add jars. So it's going to come up with this little menu here. Click on the Pong so you can see everything inside of it, then click on lib, and then just double click on game engine. So now it's going to add it to the project, and now we'll be able to reference all the code that's inside of this project here, and we're going to be able to use it directly in this Pong game without having to edit it or be able to see the code. So if you want to conceal it a little bit from other people, you can do that. But aside from that, we're going to create a new class in the Pong project. We're going to start making the Pong. So we're just going to name it main. It's just going to be our main class to start everything up. So we're going to do public static void main string args. And now create a new constructor, public main. And now just do new main. So that just gets us out of the static. And we're in the actual class itself, instance of the class. So right up top, just like we did in that small, tiny little game that we made last time, we're going to do private final game. So that's taking the game from that class that we implemented, and we're going to do game equals new game. Oops. And it's going to be 800 by 600, and we're going to name it Pong. So we're using the game class from our little game engine that we put right in here. So that's how we're having that. It's all inside the little jar file that we included. But now we're going to create a new class. This is going to be our screen. So just click new class. We're going to name it main screen. And then make sure it extends screen. And just implement everything. Alrighty. Just going to delete this stuff. So in this, we're just gonna see if the player clicks the screen or just clicks in general, and then it's gonna start the Pong game. So I'm just gonna rename that. So what we want to do is we want to get some of the mouse input. So let's go up to the top here. Actually, no, we don't need to go up there. I'm sorry. On the on update, we don't really need to draw anything right now. We can draw some words in a second. But on the on update, we're gonna do if get screen factory, capital F, dot get game dot get mouse listener dot is mouse pressed. Then we're simply going to go to the next screen. So we're going to start the game there. Whoops. Now we can just draw in a simple box, fill rect 800. Oh, whoops. We'll name it. We're just going to make a little black box and it's going to say click to start game. So do 0, 0. That's where the box is going to start, and then we're going to make it 800 by 600. That's just going to be the width and the height. So that's the width and the height of the screen. And then we can do go before it, do g2d.set color. Actually, we'll do blue just for the heck of it. And then you can do g2d.drawString press the mouse to start. And then we'll put this at, we'll say like 350 by 250. So around the center, you can always play around with it. It's going to be exactly center. But you can always play around with it to change it and make it what you want. But anyways, let's create the main game screen. So we're going to do create a new class. We're going to name it game screen. Extend screen. Implement everything. Alright. And alright, so this is where all the Pongs going to be drawn and everything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new class. Actually, before we do that, go back to the main screen, and right here, just do get screen factory dot get game. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Dot show screen new game screen, and then game dot get screen. Oops, not game. Just do get screen factory. So that will be that. That will automatically go to the next screen and show our Pong game. So now we're in the game screen. And here's where it's going to be drawing and updating the whole thing and doing all the logic and everything like that. But we're going to have to create two paddles. So one's going to be the computers and one's going to be the player. But we're going to create a new paddle class. So paddle. Make sure it extends abstract entity. And now we're actually going to, give me a second. We're actually going to make this an abstract class itself, and I'll explain why in a second. So actually delete these two methods here, just delete them, you won't get any errors from it. But we're going to delete that because the paddle is going to be implemented by both the player and also the computer. So the paddle will be able to you'll be able to use it for the player and also the computer, and we'll be able to use the same methods, not have to implement them over and over again. So pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to do public void check collision. So we're going to check the collisions of it. So our paddle is going to be, the width and the height is going to be, for the width we'll make it like, we'll say like 100. So public int width, which equals 100. Actually we'll do public static final int width equals, make it a constant, equals 100, and then height will be 25 for now. Now we can actually implement the onDraw method. So let me just grab that really quick. Just going to get that method really quickly, and then you guys can copy it. Alright, so there's the onDraw or the draw method. So because the paddle is going to be the same on both ends of both the computer and the player, we're just going to draw it in here because there's no reason to draw it the same thing in each class. So we're going to do g2d.setColor color.white. We'll give them white paddles. We'll make the background blue again. Then we're going to do g2d fill rect, so it's going to fill the screen. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll do that later. Fill rect, then we're going to do get x, so it's getting the x coordinate. And that function, these two functions are from the abstract entity class that we made back in the game engine. So the get x obviously is right here, and it's going to return the x variable. If you're wondering where that came from. And then here we're going to do width and height. So that's gonna draw the paddle. Check collisions. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a function called public rectangle get bounds. Now what this is gonna do is it's gonna check and see if if two rectangles intersect. So there's a method that comes with the rectangle class called intersects, where it pretty much just sees if the two rectangles you provided intersect each other, and if they do, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. So we are going to check a collision between the ball and also the player, but we're going to come back to this because we actually didn't make the ball class yet. But for now, we can make the get bounds function. So we can do return new rectangle, and we're going to do get x, get y, and then get width, or I'm sorry, just width, not get width, and then height. So that's going to make a it's gonna make a rectangle at the with the given x coordinate, y coordinate, and then the width and the height. And then, for example, when we check to see if there's a intersection, we can do get bounds. You don't have to type this one to show you. And then we should do dot intersects. You can see, spelled it wrong. Intersects. You can see right here that it takes a rectangle parameter or double x, double y, and then double width and double height, and it checks to see if they intersect each other or not. So that's how we're going to do the collisions for now. It's basic, simple collisions. But we're going to create the ball class now. So create a new class inside the project. So ball. It's going to extend abstract entity. And just implement all the methods. We don't need to make it abstract because this is the only ball in the game. Now we're going to make some functions. So because the ball needs to be going left, right, up, and down, we're going to give it some simple integers. So we're going to do vel x and vel y. So for velocity x and velocity y. And we're also going to create a private static final, actually private static random, which equals new random. So we're going to need that to get random numbers. So we're going to do vel x equals random dot next int, and we're going to make it between the speed between 3, and we're going to add +1. So the minimum is going to be is 1. Actually, we're going to make it 2, and we're going to make this 4. So the minimum it can be is 2, and the maximum it can be is 6. And if we need to bring that down a little bit, we can easily. So then we're going to copy this, paste it, and that should be that. Actually, I'm sorry. We have to make it go left, right, up, down. So because it's going to be going up, down, or up and then left, if you want to move the player to the left, like you saw in the last video, you saw that when we press the A key, we subtracted 2 from the x coordinate. So just like that, we're going to need to make this go to negative, so they'll be able to go left and right. So we're going to have to change this just a tad. We're going to make it -4. And then we're going to make this, we'll make it +8. So we're going to make it at least go to +4 or -8. So, or -4, I'm sorry. So, for example, if the random number is 6, it's going to subtract 4 from that. So automatically be 2. So it'll be going down 2 pixels. If it's going to be 2, we're going to do -4, and it's going to be going up 2 pixels. So that's how that's going to work. We're just going to do the same thing for the velocity of the y coordinate. And now on the update method, what we're going to do is we're going to do set x, so it comes with the abstract entity class, set x, so we're going to do get x plus vel x. So it's going to set the new x coordinate to what the last x coordinate was plus the new velocity. And then I'm just going to copy and paste that, or you can type it. We're going to do set y, get y plus vel, or velocity of y. So that's just going to move it up, down, left, right, etc. And now in here we need to also check for collisions just between the ball and the walls. Not check collisions, check collisions. I forgot to add public void. Public void. So now this is where kind of some basic logic comes in. Give me 1 second. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if the ball hits off the left wall, the right wall, the bottom wall, or the top wall. So first we'll check for the left wall. So we're going to do if get x is less than or equal to 0. Then we're going to do set x to 0, so it sets it back to 0. I'm sorry, add braces here. And then we're also going to negate the velocity. So we're going to do vel x equals negative vel x. So let me explain what that does. So if the ball is going to the left, it's going to have, for example, it's going to have like a velocity x of -3. So if the ball is going to the left 3 each pixel, what we're going to do is when we hit the wall, we want it to go back to the right. So to make it go to the right, we have to make it +3. So to do that, we simply just negate the velocity of x, which is just equal to negating the number 3. So negative 1 times negative 3 is equal to 3. So we're just negating 3. So that's what I mean when I say negate it. So it's going to make it go back to the right. Then we're going to do the same thing with the y. So if get y is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to do set y to 0. And then we're going to do vel y equals negative vel y. So just the same thing there. We're just going to negate the y to make it go down instead of up. Now we need to set some width and height variables. So we're going to do, let me go above them. We're going to do private, private static final int width equals 32. We'll make it height equals 32. And now coming back down here, we're going to do if get y plus height is greater than or equal to, we'll try like 570. So if it's touching the bottom, because I'm making it 570, not 600, because if you saw in the last video, you saw that the player could kind of go below the screen. But actually, I guess it wouldn't matter because they lose anyway. So actually, let's make it so it's kind of like a smooth animation. Let's do 610. So if the ball's off the screen, then obviously the player, or our player is going to be at the bottom, so the computer would win. So the way I'm having this is the player is going to be at the bottom of the screen and the computer is going to be at the top. So you're trying to hit it to the top and get it past the computer, while the computer is trying to hit it back down to the bottom and get it past you. So if it gets past you, then the computer wins. And if get y is, or I'm sorry, get x is, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Right here, take this part out. We're going to do player wins. Forgot to type that in. Actually, leave that there. We're just going to leave it there until we can implement it because we don't want the ball to go off the screen yet. So if we leave that there, we can actually just play around with it and see how it works. But for now, we're just going to type player wins there to make us remind ourselves to implement it. But going back to this, let's just do set y equal to 610. 610, yeah. And then vel y equals negative vel y. So we're gonna take this out here and this out here, or sorry, we're gonna take this out here, yeah, and this out here in a second. But I just want the ball to be able to bounce off the wall so you guys can see how it works. But then we're gonna do if get x plus width is greater than or equal to, and it's gonna be 800, so we'll make it like 790 just because the border kind of plays in with the 800, not a semicolon. Then we're gonna open it. We're gonna do set x equal to 790. And then we're going to do vel x equals negative vel x. So that should bounce off the walls. Now we should need to go to up to the update method and type check collisions. And that should work for us. We need to draw it, of course. We're going to do g2d dot set color. Make the ball white as well for now. You can play around with the colors if you want. Dot fill, and we are going to do oval. So we're going to do get x, get y, and we're going to need to change this around a little bit. Width. Now because when you draw an oval, okay, just like you would draw a rectangle, like I said in the last video, the first pixel is going to be starting up at the top left. So when we draw the ball, imagine this is a ball. The ball is going to be starting up the top left. We want to draw it from the center. So if we want to draw it from right inside of here, then we're going to need to move it. When we draw it, we're going to need to move it plus the width divided by 2. So we're going to do plus width divided by 2. It's kind of hard to understand, but this is how you'll center the x-coordinate. And then we're going to do plus height divided by 2. So for example, right here at the top left is going to be 0, 0. So top left is 0, 0. And then because our width and height are 32, the bottom right is going to be 32 by 32. So that's the x and y coordinates. Now the center is going to be these two divided by 2, so it's going to be 16 divided by 16. That's going to be the coordinate in the center. That's why we are adding the get x plus the width divided by 2. So we could really just write 16, but if you want to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, it's better to just leave it like this. So it's going to draw it straight from the center where the x-coordinate is, and not the actual top left. Now going back, let's try and just simply draw the ball to the screen and see if this will work for us. So go back to the game screen and do private final ball. Actually, don't put final. Private ball, and we're going to do on create, we're going to do ball equals new ball, and we are going to set it right in the center. So we're going to do, I guess it's going to be 800 minus 16, or divided by 2 minus 16. So 400 minus 16, comma 300 minus 16. Reason I'm doing 16 is because we want to place it in the center again, and we have to get the center of the ball and not the actual top left. So it's gonna be kind of off because the border plays in the 800 and the 600, but it's going to be mostly in the center for now, and we can always play around with it. Now go down to the on draw and do ball.draw. Just send that in, then ball.update. So now it should work. Let's just double check everything. Right above ball.draw, we're going to do g2d.set color.blue, and then we're going to do g2d.fill rect 0, 0, 800, 600. So we're just going to draw a blue background with the ball on top of it. Now go back to the main screen really quick. And actually, nope, that's right, you're good. So let's just try and run the game now. We should have... No, I'm sorry. Go to the main method and do game.getScreenFactory.showScreen new main screen. So now... Then we have to do game.getScreenFactory. So now if we run it, no, it started automatically. And that did not bounce off. So let's see what the problem is. Shall we? There we go. Alright, looks like the border on the right just a little off. So we're going to go back to the ball. And we are going to go to the X. So, if the X is... Oh, that's why. Let's try 700 just for now. I'm just going to play around with it, see what the problem is. Let's see, we'll do 580 and 580 there. Now, what's the problem? Let's try that. That's odd. If get y plus the height is greater than 580, let's bring it down to 550 for now. Maybe that's throwing it off. Then we change the velocity. Let's just see if there's a collision or not. So we're going to debug it really quick. There's always errors. I'm just making this on the spot. I didn't plan it out or anything, so bear with me. Collision. Okay. Seems to be working fine. Fill y. We'll make it 500. 500. I'm just going to put these equals back. Let me just figure out what the problem is. And then it gets stuck. That's odd. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's figure out why our game screen is not, our main screen is not checking if the mouse is clicked. Might be something wrong with our package. With our game engine, I mean. Let's see. Let's add a new variable in the private main screen. We'll do private long clicked, and we're just going to not set it to anything right now. And now on the on create, set clicked equal to system dot current time milliseconds, and then we're going to do and system dot get, or that current time milliseconds minus clicked is greater than or equal to 500. So what this is doing is we're saying we're setting this equal to when the screen is shown, we're setting it equal to the time that the screen's shown. And then right here we check to see if the between the time screen shown, the time now when it's updated, if it's greater than or equal to 500 and the mouse is clicked at the same time, then it's going to go to the next screen. Otherwise, it's not. I don't know why that is not showing. Now this is working. That's so odd. Press the mouse to start. Maybe I'm new main screen. I don't know what the problem is. I will be right back and then I'll fix the problem and figure out what it is, and I'll come back and show you guys what it is. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back and I found out what the problem was. So if you go to the ball class and you go down to our check collisions, the thing that's throwing everything off and making it all weird is this set X and set Y that we're calling. So from each if statement, just delete it. So delete that one, delete that, and delete that. So now if we run the game, it should run pretty smoothly. Obviously mine's laggy because I'm recording and it's just lagging the crap out of it. But it should just bounce off completely normally on your screen with no real problems. And also with the clicking, I found out what the problem with the clicking was. It was actually kind of stupid. If you go into the game engine project up here and you go down to mousepad listener, we had everything correct up here. But the reason that it wasn't working was because when we checked is mouse pressed, what I actually accidentally did was I clicked return true, which is stupid, but just changes to return clicked. So it's going to return whether the mouse clicked or not. And now we're going to have to re-export this. So go to game engine, right click it, go to export, go to jar file. I'm putting it on my desktop, named game engine, click finish, click yes, click OK. And now just delete the game engine in your lib folder down here. So in the lib folder of the Pong game, just delete that. Click OK, click yes to all, and then drag this right back in. So that should fix all of our problems now. I changed that. Yep. Okay, so now let's run it and see if this works. Okay, so we're on the screen. Once we click, it starts automatically at the Pong screen. Now, let's go down to here. That's why it's not working. So under G2D.FillRect in the main screen, you can see that it wasn't drawing the string. It actually was, but the color is the same as the color of the background, so you can't even see it. So change the color to white. And you can always change these colors around, it really doesn't matter. But when we click the mouse, it automatically starts the game. So that's how that's going to work for now. But we can get down to drawing a paddle, or making the player paddle, I suppose we could do first. But let's go into the paddle class again, and for the check collisions, just do ball as a parameter. So this is going to get called every second or in the updating, and we're going to check the collision between the ball and the player itself, or the paddle. So if the ball touches the paddle, it's pretty much just going to go. We're just going to set the velocity of the ball to the negative of its velocity. So we're going to have to go to the ball class, and we're going to have to create a new function. So this is just for convenience of changing it. So we're going to do public void negate y, I guess we could say. And then that's just going to do vel y equals negative vel y. Now that should make that go backwards when the ball hits the paddle. So go back to the paddle, and we're going to do if ball dot intersects dot, we have to create a get bounds. Go back to ball. You can actually copy this function here. So copy the get bounds from the paddle function and just paste it right into the ball function. And now inside of here, it should just automatically work. So it's going to get the x coordinate, the y coordinate is going to set it to the width of 32 and the height of 32. Now go back to the paddle, and we're going to do if ball dot intersects dot get bounds dot intersects, and then inside of it just type get bounds. So now what that's going to do is it's saying if the ball's bounds, or the rectangle that's drawn around it, intersects our bounds, so this function right here is what we call, then we're going to, what's the error? Then we're going to negate the ball's velocity. So we're going to do ball dot negate y, and that should just change it automatically. So if it's going up and it hits the computers, it's going to negate the y velocity and it's bring it right back down. If it hits the player, it's going to, and because it's going down, it's going to go right back up. So it's kind of simple collision for the paddle. But now we're going to create the player class. So go down to, or create a new class and name it player, and make it extends paddle. So now because we already have the other functions implemented, this is pretty simple. So now go to, implement everything. We don't need to do anything here. All we really need to do now is we have to get the player input and we have to see if it bounces off the paddle. So we're going to do, in the update, just type in, actually we're going to have to take a parameter for the update. So go to ball, just type ball as a parameter, and then we're going to do check. Oh, actually we can't do that. So we'll call it from the class itself. So just in the update is where we're going to get the key input. So we're going to do if get screen factory dot, oh wait, that's right. Let's, can we do this, please? You know, we just won't override it then. We're going to create this instead. So we're going to do ball, and screen. So we're actually not going to override the update method. We're actually not going to call it because we need to get the ball and also the screen parameters. So we're going to do if screen dot get screen factory dot get game dot get keyboard listener dot is key pressed key event, and we'll do vk so to the left will be a. I'm just going to copy this. We're going to change this one to D, so that'll be the right. And then we will do W for up. So that'll be W and that'll be up. Or S, which will be down. Oh wait, I'm sorry. What am I? We can't move up and down. I'm just adding in stuff now. We just need left and right. So just type that in right there, and we're going to, we have to implement that. We don't have a choice. We're just going to leave it blank because we're not going to use it. Anyways, going back to this, if the left key is pressed, so if the A key is pressed, we're going to do set x, get x minus 2. And we can increase that if we need to. It really doesn't matter for right now. And then here we're just going to do set x, get x plus 2. So it's going to move to the right too. So that's kind of basic. Then we're going to do check collision ball. So that's going to call the function that we made in the paddle class, and it's just going to check the collisions between the player and the ball itself. Or I'm sorry, yeah, it's going to check the collision between the player and the ball itself, and then negate the y if it does hit the player. So that's the basic update function for that. We're going to have to go back to the game screen now, and we're going to have to go to private player. So we're going to create a new player instance. Oh, I moved that up there. My bad. We're going to create a new player instance. Player equals new player. We are going to put them at 550 by, what's the middle going to be? It'll be 400 minus 32. Sort of, with a little bit of an offset, but we'll leave it at that for now. Then we're going to do player dot draw, and then we're going to do player dot update. So that looks good. Hopefully this will work for us. Errors. Why is it null? Okay, let's just move both of these back up to here. That's really odd. We can always figure out the problems later. But just move it back up to the constructor of game screen and just put that there. Now go to run it, and now it should work. A little bit high, isn't it? Let's do oh wow, I switched them around. This should be 400 minus 32, and this should be 550. Let's see why it's not getting the input from the keys. So, actually, let's move this up to like 530. Why is it not colliding with anything? Let's see if it hits it. That's odd. Oh, that's why, because we're not checking if it's updating. So instead of typing up on update here, or just update, that's the default function that we didn't fill in. So that's this function right here, but we didn't have a choice but to implement it. So go back to go back to game screen and just type ball, comma this, because it takes a ball instance and also the screen instance to get the keyboard input. So now we should be able to move it. It should bounce off. Yep, there we go. Obviously the collision's a little bit off right now, but yeah, it kind of goes down to the paddle, but we can always change that. Let me see. Let's make a little bit of a boundary for the player. So we're going to do if get x is or plus. We'll do if get x, and we're going to go up. We're going to go back to the paddle screen, and we're going to make these instead of private. We're going to make protected. So only classes that extend the paddle class can use those two variables, and also this class here, obviously. But go back to the paddle class and then do make it protected. Go back to the player class and then do plus width is greater than or equal to 790. Then we're just going to do set x to 790. So it can't go past or can't go outside the screen. We're going to do if get x is less than or equal to 0. We're going to do set x to 0. Now let's see if this works. Actually, you know what we could do? Sorry, I'm thinking as we go. Just copy it or cut this. So right click it, click cut, or just do Control X. It's kind of easier, but I wanted to see you guys or make sure you guys knew how to. And then go into here, change this back to private, and just in check collisions, just paste it right in there. So do it for both paddles. Now we shouldn't be able to move outside the screen. Oh, I have to make it 790 minus width. So that's going to subtract the width from it because it's touching the right side. So now it should work. God, seems to be the problem. Oh, not there. Here. Now run it. There we go. Much better. Okay, so now we just have to add the computer, which should be pretty basic. And we're going to change the ball's collisions around a little bit. So we're going to do, for the x, we're going to have to add in the width divided by 2. So we're just going to copy this right here. We have to make it centered so that the ball actually hits off the bottom. So just paste that right in. So get x plus width divided by 2 and get y plus height divided by 2. So it's going to take it from the middle and not the actual bottom right. So let's see. This is any better. Yeah, see there, much better. So now it's actually colliding with the top of the paddle, not the inside of the paddle. Let's see. Obviously that's going to be a problem. If it touches the side, it's going to be a little bit of a problem, but we're not going to implement that right now. We're going to make the computer paddle right now. So we're going to go to new class, computer. And now the AI for this is going to be kind of simple. We're going to send paddle. What the heck? We're well aware of that. What seems to be the problem here? Whoops. There we go. So just create the constructor. Whoopsie. Just create the constructor. I was just giving me an error because I didn't have it in there. Usually it gives you the option to just implement automatically. But yeah, just extends paddle, then public computer in X and Y, super X and Y. So it's a default constructor. And then in the update method, we're going to take, actually we're just going to leave this blank again. And then we're going to do public void update. And we're going to have to do override, oh wait, not override, I'm sorry. Inside here, do ball. And now we're going to have to, this is going to be like kind of like the AI of things, so the artificial intelligence for the computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if ball.getX is less than getX. So if it's to the left of the paddle, then we're going to subtract 2 from it. Oops, what am I typing in there? Then we're going to do set x get x minus 2. So we're just going to move it to the left 2 over and over again. And I mean, you could set it to the ball's x coordinate, but then the player doesn't have a chance of winning. Whereas if you set it to where you just have him move into the left slowly, then the player will still have a chance to win. Now if it is, so copy that, it's going to be greater. So if the ball is to the right of our x coordinate, just add 2. So that's pretty basic. Let's just draw him now. So go back to game screen. Do private computer, and then we'll do computer equals new computer 400 minus 32, and we'll make this like 25. And then computer.draw g2d and computer.update ball. So now that should have the computer following the paddle. So as you can see, he's kind of going with it. Looks like the ball is going just as fast as the paddle is. So we have to move that back, it looks like. Let's see what the problem is. Let's see for a second. I'm just going to try something. If we, you can try this if you want. Oh, you know what we can do? Just remove this from the draw, set it to get X and get Y. We're not going to draw from the center. We're going to draw from the top left. Now let's see if this will work for us. Wow, that is fast. Alright, we got to move that down a lot, obviously. Good. See, now it's going through it. Right on. So that's going a little bit too fast. So go to the ball. We're going to make it minus 2, 4, 4. Actually, let me make it 3. 3 is the fastest. Make it 6. And 6, so we can go up to positive 3 and negative 3. Then we're just going to do if vel x equals 0, equals 0. Then we're going to do vel x equals, we'll just do 3. And then if vel y equals 0, then we're just going to do vel y equals 3. So if the x is 0, if the velocity of x is going to be 0, that means it's not going to be moving. It's never going to be moving, so we need to check it to see if that's the case here. And if it is, we're just going to set it to 3 for both of them. We should have fixed the collisions there because they're kind of super glitchy. But they will be glitchy. Not much we can really do about it right now. Alright, so now we're gonna add in the basic. It's going a little bit too fast. I can't see the player catching up to that. So we're gonna do 4, 4, 2, minus 2, minus 2. Leave it at that for now. You can always change it if you want to. It really doesn't matter to me. It's really up to you and what you want to do with it. But go back to the ball, and so we're already in the ball. And where it says computer wins, we're gonna make a new screen. So we're gonna name it over screen. We're going to name it game over screen. It's more appropriate. Game over screen. And it's going to extend screen. Add constructor. Add implemented methods. And inside of here, just do string message. So the reason we need that there is because we're going to say on this one screen whether the player wins or loses. So if they win, we're going to say for the message, we're going to say you've won. If they lose, we're going to say you've lost. So we're going to do private final string message, and then we're just going to do this dot message equals message, and then it's going to be simple. We're just going to do g2d.setColor color.blue. We're going to do g2d.fillRect 800 by 600. And then we're going to do g2d.setColor color.white. And then g2d.drawString message, comma, what should we do? We'll just set it at like 300. It's not going to be centered, but you can do that if you want to. We'll make it like 375 or 275. So that'll be that. There's going to be no update, and there's no reason to. That looks good. So let's go back to the ball. And inside of here, we're just going to do, we're going to have to get a game instance. So let's go. We're going to have to, okay, so up here, just type public, actually screw it. Take out the check collisions from the update method right here. And then right here, type game, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, type screen factory. And then we're going to, right here, we're going to do screen factory dot show screen. And we're going to do new game over screen factory, comma, you have lost against the computer, exclamation mark. And now we're just going to copy and paste this up here, remove the val y equals negative val y, and we're going to say you have won against the computer. So that should do it. Now go back to the game screen here, and we're going to have to type in the update method, we're going to have to type ball.checkCollisions game dot, or no, I'm sorry, just get screen factory. Alright, so now let's see. Let's see who wins. I think I'll probably win because the paddle goes right through the paddle. So you've won against the computer. Yay. So that's game over for them. Let's fix that collision. What is going on? That seems to be working fine. X, Y, and then with night. And that's super odd. We're just going to have to override this in the computer. Because I don't feel like figuring out what the problem is for right now. So type @override, copy and paste the get bounds, then type @override above it, and paste into the computer class. And then inside of here, we're going to have to, we're going to have to go back to the paddle. Go back to the paddle and make this protected so that that class can use it. I could figure out why that problem was happening, but I don't want to figure out why you guys are waiting, so I'm just not going to. And we're going to have it. See what the problem is one more time. Because it looks like it's... No, I'm going to lose. Oh, there we go. Glitches for the win. Alright. Okay. Looks like it's just going past the computer. So, get X. Let's see if this will do the trick. Alright, I'm going to figure out the problem is. I'll be right back. Before I go, delete that get bounds, go back to the paddle, and change this to private. Back to private. And I'll figure out what the problem is. 1 second. Be right back. Alright, so I found the problem. I found out what it was, and I feel really stupid again. It was pretty simple. If you go into the computer class, you'll see that you don't have check collisions ball here. So what was happening was we were never even checking the collision between the computer and the ball. So if you just put that in there right now, it should work right after you run it. So your game screen should look like this, and then should be the same. Nothing really changed in there. And then the check collision should be in there. Now, as you'll see in my game in a second, I'm drawing little boxes around it. Those boxes are actually the get bounds functions. So the red one going around the player is their get bounds, and the white one going around the ball is the ball's get bounds. So as you can see, when the rectangle touches the paddle, it automatically bounces off. Just to demonstrate how the collisions are working. But as you can see, if it goes past, we lose. So that's the basis of the game, guys. It's kind of how it's going to work, but that's going to be the end of it for now. I might come back and add on to it, but it's pretty much Pong. I mean, that's the game. You can always add points. You can always mess around with it. If you guys have anything cool to it or want to show me something about it, send me an inbox message. But looks like this is our first game using the game engine, using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes. So it's a pretty good job, and the code's pretty clean, pretty nice. Can't complain about it. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment and subscribe. I'll be making another video soon using this game engine, probably adding to it, fixing some things. But yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.